Hello everyone, Sarah here, and I thought today we would do some conchomancy. Now what is conchomancy? Conchomancy is seashell readings, and I have kind of adapted it. The Afro-Americans brought over their cowrie shell readings to the Western world, and I have kind of adapted it to all kinds of seashells and goodies. So I have been collecting many of these things over my whole life. I was brought up swimming on tropical reefs out in Bermuda, and we did collect corals in the 70s before we knew what we were doing. So I now put these to good use with healing, and I try to make some amends that way. These were sea fans that I picked as a little girl, and I could not swim properly then, and my mother would not let me take my armbands off, and she went back to the car and I quickly took them off, and then I dived down and picked these. Probably about 1974, 1975, something like that. So we are very sorry, but we keep these with love and light. So I'm going to place one over here. And these need the movement of the currents to survive, okay? So they're pretty bendable and mutable, and they move with the water. And some of them are absolutely huge. We used to go into people's houses, and above the whole fireplace would be an arrangement of a sea fan. They grow rather like flowers. So I'm just going to place those here. Okay, so let's have a little rummage around, and there are lots of things in here. I'll take those out. Those are chakra shells. We won't need some of these. And I'm just going to rummage around, really. So, before we start, I'm just going to take a rattle. And this is Bermuda sand, so let's just shake the energy off. Shake it off. Let everything fall away, because this will be a healing as well. Then I'm going to show you. Now these are all in pairs. So if I sort of move some around, and if you see any that you are drawn to hold, I'd like you to imagine picking them up. We have razor clams here. We have carrier shells. We have primrose conches. The sea urchins. We have barnacles that you can hold and drain the energy out of your hands, as well as these spider conches. If you hold them like that, drain the energy out. We have trocus for fast amplification of healing and learning. We have harpers for those who self-sacrifice and need to sing their song a bit louder. We have river mussels to hold and calm you down. And these look rather like angel wings, don't they? Okay. If you are drawn to hold the pair of the driftwood, that is also something to hold as well. And we have the false egg cowries, or the vulva cowries, which would help with sexual healing, but also they're a great ally. These were gifted to pregnant women, I think in Japan and perhaps Papua New Guinea area, to bear down on when they're pregnant. We also have some smooth stones down here. And these votive shells from Bangalore. Okay. So many others that I haven't named as well. So if you are drawn to hold any, you may do so now. Okay, so I'm just going to move that out of our way. And we'll have a little rummage around, and some things have to be protected, okay? So, first of all, I am going to, I'm not looking, I'm just going to have a reach in. Let's see what I pull out. Oh, and we pull out this little bracelet, and this was gifted to me by a little girl on the beach as I was sitting there playing sandcastle drippings with her. She took this off and she gave it to me. So let's focus on the inner child perhaps today. So I'm just going to put that in the cleansing shell for a minute. And then we'll have another root around. Ah, and we have mussels. Okay, mussels. This is from one of the beaches in the UK. So I would say to you, are you eating enough? Are you eating well? Perhaps you need to start eating some seafood and watching your diet a little bit. So we'll just put that there. And have another little rummage. Ah, we have a piece of 8. Pieces of 8. And this is my mother's. I don't think it's a real one. But hidden treasures. What is hidden? What is hidden from you? Or what have you hidden from the world? Okay. Let's have a rummage over here. And we have an Atlantic slipper shell. This is also from the beaches in the UK. Now these stand for community and sisterhood. These form a chain of about 10 of them. The bottom one would be the female, and then all the males will stack up. And when the female passes away, the one that is on the underneath will actually change sex. So this is a bit gender fluidity perhaps would be the name of the game. Recognizing the inner parts of you. Perhaps if you are male, perhaps recognizing the female element within you, and vice versa. Okay. We have the augurs. Now, I think this is really fast healing, and it can be used as a wand to direct energy in through the spiral and to take energy out. So we'll pick that one, and then we will pick one more. 2 more, because we'll pick 7. Okay, and we have our 2 here. So we have the spider and the scorpion conch. Again, what I said for drawing negative energy out. And we have my grandmother's pearls for love. Okay. So let's move those out of the way now. And let's begin. So let's arrange these perhaps, and I think we'll encircle everything in these, okay? And this will go in the middle in our inner child, and this will be at the bottom Also your nourishment, your hidden treasure at the heart. Perhaps these two need to go somewhere near the top because of the worry that you sometimes do. Okay, I'm just looking, just going to quickly grab some other cards. And I'd like you to start settling yourself down and starting to take a couple of deep breaths in, holding the air in your lungs for a little while, and then breathing out any anxieties and worries. Okay, taking a second deep breath in, and again breathing out anything that doesn't serve you. And then a third deep breath in. I'll just use these oracle cards as well. And I think what we'll do is we'll pick out 3. Okay. All right. So everybody blow on the cards. And what does everybody from the collective need to hear? And this will be for the past. Okay. Facing your fears. Okay. And then for the present. Protection. Okay. And then for the future. For the future, the consequences, so thinking about what we do. Okay, right. So let's just move in and start doing a bit of healing and a bit of work around these cards. Okay. And I really feel that I would like you to bring a bit of dolphin energy in, and also I'm going to bring in our sea dragons, the oceanic dragons that we use in cleansing, clearing and shifting energy in a similar way to the violet flame. Okay, so in the past you have faced your fears, and we shall use the razor clams just to cut them away from you. So just remember what you needed to be brave for, what you had to clear. Okay, you faced it, you overcame it, and if it did sort of beat you down a little bit, what lessons did you learn from that? So we're just cutting those ties off now, and just going to send a little bit of healing to that. We're going to use this auger just to spiral that energy out. In fact, hold it that way. So spiraling it out and away from you. Just recognize it and let it go. Don't let it keep shaping your life today, and don't keep going over those fears, okay? All right. You have the love of your family, the love for yourself, and the love of your guides carrying you forward. And we're going to use a shell that is very, very dainty, it's a freshwater river mussel. So I'm just going to hold that up to you now and shine that in, bringing those healing colors into the areas of your body and your mind that you needed the most. Okay, and just look at those beautiful pinks and the golds and how they fill in the spaces, they calm and they nurture you. And then I'm just going to Turn it over to the other side and just seal it in there. Perhaps it's feeling you at your throat and maybe even at your heart. So just gently bring that down. Okay. And when you were able to face your fears, perhaps afterwards you thought, oh, that wasn't so bad. And then you were able to enjoy yourself a little bit and do that work on your inner child. So I'd like you now just to imagine that you are sitting on the beach. And you're sitting right at the edge of the water where the sand is wet. And you're just picking up sand and letting it drip through your hands, creating those seashell castles, sea sand castles that we used to make out of sand drippings as a kid when I was in Bermuda. And they kind of look like stalactites reaching upwards and outwards to the light, to higher vibrations and higher life. Okay. Now, know that you are well protected. Know that you are protected and looked after by family and friends, but also your guides. And let's use the crab energy. Remember, they have one big pincer and they have a small one. And they can move on the land and they can move in the sea as well. So even the land crabs will crawl to the sea for their mating season. So you can switch you can switch it up a little bit. You move freely, knowing that you are protected by this crab energy. And I'm just going to draw the symbol of Oceanic Reiki of the crab pincer, pushing that into you for the protection that you need. Okay. And the dragons, the oceanic dragons, blow their oceanic rainbows around you and through you and within you, of the pink coral, the iridescent blue, the silver and the gold, the aquamarine, and the oceanic rainbows. And that will create a sphere around you, a ball of protective energy, protecting you for whatever you have got to face in the future. Well, now really, because this was the present, wasn't it? So let that hold you upright and carry you forward. Okay. And then we move to the future, and we chose the plank here, which equals consequences. Whatever we do creates consequences. Some of them big, some of them little, some of them favourable, some of them not. So I suggest if you have to make a big decision, okay, you can think about it, weigh up the pros and cons if you are unsure, okay? If you have doubts, and a lot of doubts that is holding you back, hold this in your hand and drain those doubts into that shell, into the cavity. Okay. Give it all to the shell now, and I'm just going to, in fact, I'm going to use a different shell. I'm going to use an abalone. Just to sweep that energy away as we're doing this, okay? Just sweeping it out of you. Okay. But also, that plank looks like we can float on it, doesn't it? It looks like a raft. So it might be that even though you choose things which create consequences, those consequences will carry you forward into whatever you need to do. Okay. All right. And just to recap, because this has been a very quick healing and reading, grounding with this shell, because they stick to rocks and then shells stick on them. Being fluid. One day you might wake up and you might be a bit tomboyish, or you might have a bit of yang energy, the action energy to really do things. Another day you may feel a bit more yin, a bit more inward. That's okay too, so just have a quiet day then. Okay. Really make sure you keep your nourishment up, okay? Really start to think about, am I eating enough fish? Am I getting those omega-3 oils in? And broadening your taste, because you're missing out. If you didn't like something when you were younger, try it again, because they say every 7 years our taste buds change. Really making sure that you are nourishing yourself enough. Okay. Playing, bringing that inner child out. Okay, nourishing the fun and the joy that you need within you to make life enjoyable. And I know a lot of people find that hard. Just try and find one little thing each day to make you smile. And when that chain reaction sets off, it'll bring out the hidden treasures within you. The hidden treasures that you have, that you are keeping hidden from the world and possibly from yourself. Okay. The auger, taking things away from you that no longer serve, so letting the worries and the things that happened in the past be taken away. And this can be used in the other sense, so bringing the joy back into you. Okay. Really letting go of things, trying not to let the future worry you either. Okay. And then that is all surrounded by the love that the divine holds for you, your guides hold for you, and your family holds for you. But most importantly, the love that you hold for yourself. Okay. And as well as the dragon, who is protective, dolphins are protective, but they bring the fun and that sense of enjoyment in. So you could maybe imagine that you are in a lovely beach somewhere, and that a dolphin or a pod of dolphins is out there and you go swimming with them. Who doesn't want to swim with the dolphins? I don't know. I've never done it, but I certainly would love to. My daughter has, and she said it was wonderful. Okay, so just now, breathe out. I'm just going to brush all that into you. By this seagull feather that was gifted to me by my friend Joseph, who made it with beads on the end. And finally, we'll just seal in with the sun shell some of that energy. I'll hold that up so you can see it. And just absorb that pink love and light into you. Okay. And then we'll just balance that with the moon shell, because we did talk about masculine and feminine. So just letting the moon energy, yin energy shine in as the masculine energy did. Okay, so that is a very short seashell reading, and we can do those across the internet, and they would last an hour long, so you'd get a much more in-depth healing and reading If you would like one, just give me a shout. And I wish you all the best for the next week or so. Breathe out and ground it into you. So just stamp your feet a little bit, move them a little bit. Stamping in as the energy is something that pagans and witches do in circle. And you've just had a bit of a divination reading for show. So stamp in that healing and energy, and let's thank our guides and helpers and ask them to step back from us. Regrow tree coral out of your feet and down into the ground below you. And I will see you very soon with another video. Take care and stay safe.